I was reminded just a few minutes ago of a quip that I had made when I was at Ascension years ago. I was asked why it is that I would stop and pray before I would begin preaching by one of my children. And I said, I'm asking God to help. I'm asking God to get in there and fill the words and spread the Spirit. And looked at me and said, well, why doesn't he help? It's a quip. It worked then. It was a quip. Okay, all right, here we go. Compassion. Did you hear the word compassion? 14th verse of the gospel. They don't let you talk a lot down here, do they? Did you hear the word compassion in there? I tried to emphasize it. Please, thanks. Okay. If you'll work with me, we'll get through this, I promise. Okay. Compassion, this is Fred Buechner's quote. It's in a book called Wishful Thinking. Compassion is the sometimes fatal capacity for feeling what it is like to live inside somebody else's skin. It is the knowledge that there can never really be any peace or joy for me until there is peace and joy finally for you too. It's compassion, his definition. I'd suggest that for Christians, compassion is one of the most appropriate responses to suffering or deprivation or loss or injustices or any number of the storms of life that we have to work our way through, okay? And it seems to be, from my reading of the gospel, it seems to be the inward disposition, the modus operandi. Any Trekkies? Any Trekkies here? Star Trekkies? Sure. They really don't let you guys talk much, do they? Okay, all right. It's the prime directive in Star Trek language. It is the defining quality which drives the ministry of Jesus all through the Gospels, okay? That English word compassion does not do justice to the meaning of the word in the Greek in its original form, its original writings. The word in Greek refers to intestines or bowels or entrails, your innards. So when it talks about him being compassionate, he's moved to his very core. There is an emotional, a visceral reaction to what it is that he's seeing, a deep physical reaction. And that's what the evangelists observed. That's what they saw. And so I suspect the Greek meaning is a little more accurate. They meant for you to know he is really touched, more than just touched. He's just hammered by what he's seeing. Examples of compassion for Jesus, they're all over the gospel. Matthew, they're in the 6th chapter, 9th chapter, this one in the 14th, 20th. Mark's got them 1, 5, and 6. Luke 7, 10. There's a lot of mentions of Jesus being compassionate, having compassion for a situation. Y'all know that Jesus was hungry himself upon a time. Man, it's a tough crowd. It is a tough crowd. You remember the temptation story at the very least, okay? He's out there. What does the devil want? He wants bread out of stones. Remember this? Okay, all right, okay. Thank you. Work with me. I'm telling you, we'll get it done. Okay, he knew that performing miracles for the sake of the splash, for the showboating, that's not what you do. That's not what God is about. That's not how this works, okay? It's not the way of God. But apparently, the motivation of multiplying food, if it's compassion, as he looks out at this crowd, Jesus confects an unparalleled feast that feeds an entire ballpark. Brings me to the gospel. Let me try to make a point about the gospel, tell you a story. Okay? The feeding of the 5,000, I'm suggesting, the feeding of the 5,000 serves as a worthy paradigm, a model, a template, an example, a pattern for all Christian ministry. This story serves as an example for all Christian ministry. More than just an enormous picnic happened, I think, in the minds and hearts and stomachs of the people by the Sea of Galilee. Something at the very heart and soul of Christian faith was disclosed. I believe it was the economics of Jesus. The economics of Jesus. It's not something that Karl Marx would sign off on. Milton Friedman, they're not going that way. But I think it is, in fact, what you'll find throughout the Gospels. So let me tell you what I think the economics of Jesus is. This is the definition. I'll do this twice because it's a little bit thick, okay? Whatever you have, whatever time to share, talent to lend, treasure to give, no matter how small or little, has the potential, when placed in the hands of God, to grow and succeed and bear fruit beyond any humanly defined limits. Let me do that again, okay? Whatever you got, no matter how small, no matter how little, no matter how inconsequential it might seem to you, when placed in the hands of God, it will grow and succeed and bear fruit beyond any human reckoning. I think that's the economics of Jesus. What the disciples considered inconsequential, especially in light of the inestimable needs they can see standing in front of them, all 5,000 plus women and men, all these hungry people, okay? They got 5 loaves, they got a couple of fish, and here's this crowd. Jesus has them bring it to him, and the first thing he does, what does he do? He breaks, blesses, lifts up, offers to God. He gives thanks to heaven and gives thanks to God Almighty. He does not, as they do a bit, simper around whining about why isn't there more, or what are we going to do, or how much is this going to cost. He doesn't whine or complain about insufficient resources, but exalts and gives glory for that which is offered, for what's offered, for what's there. That, though it may appear to be inadequate or just a drop in the bucket. Millard Fuller, Habitat for Humanity. Got any Habitat folks? Yes, I got an answer. This is great. Okay. Millard Fuller, founder, original driving force for Habitat. Do y'all know what Habitat for Humanity is? Okay. All right, got it. So, driving force for this. He's meeting with these guys from a little town in Georgia. And in that meeting, they're going to talk about this group of guys starting a Habitat affiliate in their town, building some houses to help serve the poor, help house those who do not have, okay? And so Habitat and building houses, as you know, is a really capital-intensive enterprise. It takes a bunch of bucks to get stuff, a building up, to get stuff done, to get a house working, okay? So before Millard arrives, several of the members of this group huddled around a pocket calculator, and they're running the numbers, trying to figure out how much are they going to have in order for this thing to work out. And they decide they're going to have $6,000 in the bank if they have any hope of success. The $6,000 would finance the digging of the footers, the framing up of the house, and that would give them some time, show some evidence of progress, give them some time so they could go raise some more money to do the next stages. Okay, you with me? Sort of priming the pump and moving along. All right. So when Millard walks into the room, you can imagine, first question. One of the guys says, Millard, we're very excited to become an affiliate of Habitat for Humanity, but we've only raised $3,000. And we know we got to have about $6,000 before the thing will fly. What do you think? Millard leans over, looks at the group with the seriousness you get when it's money talk. You know what I'm talking about? That really serious money talk. And after a moment's silence, he answers soberly, very soberly. Let me tell you something very important. Listen carefully. The whole future of what you're about to do rests on what I'm about to say. It would be absolutely reckless and irresponsible and injudicious for you to start your Habitat affiliate without having at least $1 in the bank. To start with anything less would be ludicrous. Well, as some of you did, the group chuckles, kind of laughs nervously. You know, this is not where I thought we were going. He grins, Miller then grins, and goes on to say, Habitat is founded on the economics of Jesus, which was manifested in the feeding of the multitudes, like this gospel story we had today. Here it is. You take what you have, $1. You give thanks for it, and then give it to the Lord to be blessed. Then you step out in faith. Pagans need all the money in the bank before they start something, not Christians. You take the first step. Create a crisis where people know there's a poor family without shelter. Motivated Christians can help out, can help make this different. And watch God provide. Sometimes in ways you will never, ever imagine. Well, that affiliate's going great guns today, okay? And in fact, that first build, they had one of those surprise moments when a former member of a KKK, Ku Klux Klan dropout, came to do the plumbing in the house for free for this black family. Divine creativity, divine providence, holy ministry. It's limited only by our capacity to accept it and trust it and be willing instruments of its unfolding and its use. Such, I think, is the heart and soul of faith and the message, I think, that's in today's gospel story. And such is where our own compassions can take us. God, in his economy, will do wondrous things, but only if we share of ourselves in trust and gratitude. Remember what got the whole feast started? So I don't know where or about what ministry you're passionate, where or who or what cause elicits compassion from you. I'm your supply guy. I'm the B team. I'm just here today. So I'll never know. It's the truth of the story, okay? What I do know is that without your energy, your effort, your engagement, there would be no church and there would be no ministry in this place. My prayer this morning is that you'll do what and all you can. Maybe stretch and do a little bit more. And please, rest assured that blessings will abound. Amen.